It was- Well, today I have one of my childhood heroes with me, so Alvin Kallicharran, and we're going to talk about a little bit about his background, where he's from, a little bit of his history, and we've got a really exciting announcement to make right at the end, so stay tuned for this one. So, Kalli, this is Coffee with Kalli.
Coffee with Kalli, yeah.
Coffee with Kalli. Cheers.
Cheers.
This is in case our wives call, we tell them we're having coffee.
Yes,
So,
done it before. Nothing wrong with doing it again.
oh yeah. But it was great meeting you about 4 or 5 months ago. Completely out of the blue, I'm dropping my daughter off at a birthday party in America, North Carolina, and out walks these little guys with cricket bats, and I said to them, who's your coach? And they said to me, Sir Alvin Kallicharran. And you played cricket in my hometown, Port Elizabeth, South Africa, many years ago, and you are probably the reason why I stuck to cricket and got some decent coaching for once in my life because of what you brought to the country in, it was at 1981?
Just easy, 82 is something like that.
Yeah, so but before we get to that side of the story, let's go back a little bit and tell me about when you were, where you were born and a little bit about your hometown.
Well, it is quite a long time ago, but I am from Guyana, which is basically part of the West Indies. You may want to know why an Indian person is playing for West Indies. Well, grandparents and foreparents migrated from India in the late or early 1900s. So I started as a kid in the village because they all went to work in the sugar plantation and then they became rice farmers, fishermen. So I grew up in that environment of village life.
When you say village life, you're talking about being very active outdoors?
Well, that's what village life about.
Okay.
You know, you work, you've got to spend a lot of time working in the farm.
When's your earliest memory of you actually having to physically help someone in the plantations or anything like that?
From as far as I knew.
Yeah?
As kids, 8, 9, we were working in the farms, cutting wood, cutting rice, cutting cane, to just supplement.
I didn't even know you cut rice.
Oh yes, I did all of that.
Yeah.
But just you've got to earn that extra money to supplement your father's income because not everybody is fortunate, or most people in the village, because they're all working class people.
And what's your mom doing when your dad's trying to support the family?
Looking after kids.
Okay.
Yeah. So, or in the market selling something.
And how many looking after kids? Tell us about how many brothers and sisters live?
We have 4 brothers, 4 sisters. Yeah.
4 of each.
Yeah, 4 of each. So it's a big family.
Mm-hmm.
So to look after that financially, it takes some doing. So everybody got to play their part. So in the middle of doing all of that, you have a little bit of time to do what most people do, play cricket. Because cricket is the national sport in West Indies and most islands. So a little time we have, we make bats out of trees or the coconut bats.
Yeah.
And the ball is made of the bark of the tree. You roll it into a ball.
You can.
Yes, so you roll that into a ball. And you play with that in the street.
How do you make a cricket bat out of
Coconut, yeah.
Yeah.
You just shape it, anything becomes a bat. Just an handle and a face.
So your dad has a saw to cut the tree and shape it, or?
Saw?
Yeah.
No, all about cutlass. They use a thing called cutlass to cut cane.
Okay.
Right, so you use the same, very sharp.
Like a panga?
Yeah,
Okay.
right. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
I got you.
yeah. So that shapes your cricket bat. And then sometimes you elevate yourself. You start to look for the bigger trees, mature trees, and you make your bats out of that.
Wow.
Because affordability, you couldn't afford, nobody can afford to buy a bat or a ball or
Coffee break.
coffee break, yes.
Okay.
So,
Just-
and we were playing the gravel in the street, or if there's any rough ground, any piece of land you see, you play. And you create your games.
Talk to me about
games.
the actual ball that you made. Obviously, it's not a perfectly round
Yeah.
156 gram kookaburra.
No, you're the same piece of wood, and you shape and you shape and you shape, and you put some rubber bands
Okay.
around it to make it look like a cricket ball.
And how long does that last?
It lasts for a while because it doesn't finish its wood. And boy, you've got to be protective on your feet. If you miss, you're gone.
Break a toe.
Break it out, anything around here.
And does it bounce? How does that ball bounce?
Up and down.
Okay.
It's got a mind of its own.
Okay.
Up and down.
So when's your earliest memory of
That's
that?
where it gives you two things it teaches you to do.
Yeah.
To look at the ball carefully. To look at ball, never take your eyes off the ball. That's a great lesson for all of us growing up. So it's a good teaching. Once we say it's difficult, it's self-taught. How to focus on an object. Just keep your head still. Just focus on the object. Because if you miss that ball, that's it, hospital. So, and that's why you find in our environment we grew in, you find us, because we had to be so protective on our legs, we became very, very good players off the pads.
Wow.
Because you have to play everything.
Yeah.
You have to play everything. There's nothing to help you to defend in the orthodox way. So we have to create our defense. And what we didn't realize, until I started playing, then I realized we were doing everything correctly without being told. Self-taught.
Yeah.
In a technical way. Simple, but it's a technical way.
It's the same as in practice the other day when
Yeah.
when one of the guys, all I did was I said I put a little shin guard on the top of off stump,
Yeah.
and I said nothing else. I said the ball's got to bounce and hit the top of off stump, and I kept it simple. And I just sat back and watched him for a while, and before you know it, they were all hitting the top of that, and when they were hitting the top of that, their line and length was perfect.
Perfect.
Well, it all fit together.
Exactly. So
you create
see what
simple
happens. We
opportunity.
create simpleness. That's why I be in the method of simpleness. But having said that, and then my father also played. So during that time when we were doing, we used to go and look at them playing in the village when there's a game. The whole village goes, people are looking. So you become a spectator. So what happens when you see these chaps are batting, or you go and see them practicing? I used to get a piece of stick, and then when I see them playing a shot, I practice it. I practice it, but I see the shot they play, and I stay there from the far corner, and I play the shot mentally.
Wow. I saw the exact same thing. There's a movie, a Bobby Jones movie, and Bobby Jones, greatest golfer of all time, he won the Grand Slam. When in the movie they show him imitating all the swings from all the greats, he would hide in the woods.
Yes.
And he would see them, and he would practice the swing. He'd even practice swearing the way they did, throwing the club down.
Yes. So all these mannerisms, and then as you develop into a better area, you start to play games, and then what happens to you used to create your own games. For example, the carton boxes. We used to go to the shopkeeper when they're throwing away these boxes in the night. I pick them up, bring them home, break them, get a piece of string, shape them into a little pad.
Nice.
Mentally, yeah.
Yeah.
And I go, I look at my pad and I practice, I look at my pad and, yeah. So
Who were you emulating at that stage? Who were you?
anybody.
Yeah.
myself or what I saw on the field, and I bring it back, and I go in our backyard, and I practice them. And then, with that, I used to tie a ball under the house, and I was batting all day.
How old are you now when you're doing this?
6, 7.
6 or 7 years old.
6, 7 years old.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
The other day, my wife gets a box from Amazon.
Yeah.
Cardboard box. My kids have expensive toys.
Yeah.
The box was more important.
Yeah.
Yeah. Simple.
Oh yeah, but that one, one Christmas,
Yeah.
4 brothers, she bought one sponge ball for the 4 of us. And we started to play with this ball Christmas morning. Everybody wants to take charge of this ball. All 4 of us was fighting for this
All
ball.
the brothers.
All.
Tell me the ages of the brothers.
They were
And
about,
where are you in this lineup?
I was around the bottomish.
The youngest?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Not the youngest, I was around the
Sick.
bottom.
Okay.
Yeah. My mother was looking at this and she called us to bring the ball back. She got the knife, cut it in 4 quarters.
Oh, jeez.
Here's 1, 2.
Wow.
Go play with your cricket ball
Oh
now.
my goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a Bible story like that.
That's the end of the
Yeah.
that's the end of the ball. Everybody got their own ball now. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that, and we're looking at each other. That's the end of the game, that's the end of the ball, that's the end of Christmas.
Wow.
So that toughness was always, was at that time